Hey guys, this is Oscar with Operation Warrior Athlete. Taking a break from work here, trying to answer some questions for the channel. When I started this channel, I want to remind everybody that my intention was to be informative and answer questions and not to definitely point the finger at anyone. And everything I talk about is from my experience. And one of the unique things I learned through this process is that everybody has a unique journey. And one of the things I also learned is that you don't have to be a veteran, a combat veteran, or a veteran that have served in the military to have a unique journey at all. Everybody comes into this world, I believe, and represents their way of life with whatever they want and however they view life. I just happened that I was in the military, and this is the way I perceive my life, and I try to grow from it. I call PTSD not PTSD. I call it post-traumatic stress growth. This is something that I'm going to live with for the rest of my life, but I can grow and learn from it. So the questions that came in the last few days is, why is the community so important? And do I realize that the community, meaning civilians, don't understand us? One of the things that I learned through my recovery with post-traumatic stress growth is that you do not have to be a veteran, a combat veteran, whatever you want to call it, to have stress in your life. Yes, we can call combat stress, but we have individuals out there that are amazing that do have stress in their life in PTSD. I'll give you a prime example. Individuals that get in a car accident, that is stress. That's not combat stress, what we categorize it, but it is PTSD. This individuals that went through a traumatic event. So necessarily, PTS is not only identified as a veteran thing. It's actually a life event that occurred to an individual. So for individuals or veterans that are out there saying, my PTSD is worse than the other, than someone who's never served, it really doesn't get down whether yours is worse. It's really how you perceived it. I understood you may have been in combat, the individual got in a car crash, but it's really how your mind perceived that. And also, there's no levels of identifying PTSD, meaning that level 1 is combat stress, level 2 is getting in a car accident. As an individual, we put ourselves there. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I met a veteran. He asked me, hey, did you serve? Yes, I was a Marine. So he says he was a Marine. And right away, he started pretty much trying to play even out the field. Oh, where did you serve? I served in Iraq. Oh, you served in Iraq too. Great. I was in Anbar Products. Oh, he was in Fallujah. So right away, he's trying to identify, who has it worse, who really saw combat. And we get into the conversation if I had a combat action ribbon, which I do. I don't flash it around. So he did have one too. And I guess he won the battle when he told me that he had a Purple Heart. So right away, as veterans, I tend to run into individuals that want to one-up you. And that's exactly what we do as a whole, not just the veteran, but the whole community, as far as who has it bad. So just going back to PTSD, there's no research done, and correct me if I'm wrong, what level we have, if Oscar has level 2, if Joseph have level 3, or anybody has, okay? Post-traumatic stress is post-traumatic stress. You do not have to be in combat. You don't have to serve in the military to have it. We have individuals out there that have traumatic events in their life. It's really how our brains perceived it. So that's some of the things that we do as veterans. We put ourselves in a higher level because we saw combat, and sometimes that's unfortunate because we miss on relationships. The other part of the community is I can't be oblivious to the fact that people may not understand veterans, but that's not everybody. There's individuals out there that don't understand individuals that have never served. That's the reality. Maybe they're not making an effort. Maybe we're not making an effort to identify with them. When I talk about community, I talk about individuals that, when I go to a gas station and I pay for my water, that is the community. I don't just go into a gas station to purchase water and ask an individual if he's a combat veteran. And if he tells me no, I'm just going to turn around and leave without water. That's part of the community. When I go grocery shopping, you know, I don't, run my food to the register and ask that cashier if she or he is a veteran or combat veteran. And if she says no, I just turn around and walk away. That is all part of the community. And if we don't engage the community and we don't find a way to link ourselves to the community, this journey is going to be a very hard one, and we can set ourselves up for failure. And then the other questions were, I just can't trust everyone. So one of the things that I learned through this journey again is that we define trust all or nothing. And what I mean by that is that it's either I give you all my trust or not, and if you're not a veteran, I'm not trusting you. One of the things that we need to understand is that there's different layers of trust, and we need to identify what layer that is. Trusting someone with your heart, your feelings is different than getting on a plane and never meeting the pilot and flying from here to New York. That is a level of trust. You have never met that pilot. You don't know if he has his full credentials, and you just went with it. So that is a level of trust. You're trusting the airlines to have someone who's qualified to fly that plane there. So that is trust. The delivering of a baby. I just had a son 2 years ago almost. I never asked that nurse, that doctor, if she was a veteran. That was a level of trust that I had, that this individual was hired by the hospital because she had credentials. And that is a level of trust. Something as sensitive as that, allowing somebody to handle the birth of my son. So I think it's very important for us as a whole, not just the veteran, to identify what we define as trust and the different layers of trust, and also don't live a life that is all or nothing with that. First of all, as a veteran, it's very difficult because of the traumatic events that we had. Get it, understand it. We really want to relate more to a veteran than versus someone who's never served. I get it. I understand it. I go through it every day when I step in my neighborhood. I don't have a lot of veterans in my neighborhood, but I have to withhold those conversations, and I have to work on that. And that's called growing with PTSD or post-traumatic growth. That's what it's called. And you really want it or don't want it. That's the way I see it. Or you really have to work at it a little harder. Something that I really had to work a little harder myself. And it goes with everything. Relationship building. Me and my wife have to grow in that relationship and understand each other. My wife never served, but she's part of my life. And it's really not a relationship that I am better than her or have it worse than her because I was in combat. So it's really putting effort into your relationship. So to recap this, yes, the community is very important. A lot of individuals out there you're going to run to that you will need, and they will not be veterans. Not everyone needs to be a veteran or be in combat to, experience post-traumatic stress at all. Individuals out there are living every day with it and coping with it. And, we got to stop sub-categorizing each other as far as where do you sit in the food chain as a veteran, combat veteran, Purple Heart veteran, a regular veteran. We're all on this a unique journey together. We're all part of it. We're all giving it all we have, and we've all sacrificed quite a lot. So I hope that answers your questions, how I perceive how the community supports me or how important the community is. I hope you guys have a great day. Please take care.